Hey everyone, this is Jack here, Polymorphic. I just wanted to make a quick video tutorial on how I made this basic automatic combat fighter. And I'm going to start off with our imports here at the very top. As you can see, we're using the behavior tree framework and we're using Kotlin as well. So we start off with defining our combat script class. So we have some state or variable fields here. We have a combat area, NPC names, combat manager, and looting manager. So we need a combat area so we know where to fight, and we need to know the NPC names so we know which NPC that we are fighting. So the script works by basically going to the combat area, attacking the NPC, doing any looting, burying any bones, and it will also go to the bank when the inventory is full. So here's our logger. So first thing we do is we create a logger and we basically print to the console saying that we're starting up the bot. This is our paint. We're using the built-in paint from the Tribot SDK. This is our NPC name, which is the guards in Falador. This is the center tile, and this is the radius for the combat area. So here we call area.fromRadius. So we pass in our center tile and the radius to create our combat area. We add the guard NPC name to the NPC names. We instantiate our combat manager by passing the combat area and NPC names, and we also instantiate our looting manager by passing in the combat area as well. Then we just print out the values. Then we instantiate our behavior tree. We pass in the combat manager, looting manager, and logger to the tree as an argument to the parameters. And then we tick our tree, and then when the tree is done ticking, we print out the result: success, failure, or kill. And this is how our combat tree works. So like I said earlier, we pass in 3 arguments to the parameters here, and then we instantiate our root node, which is going to be a repeat until. So what this is basically like a while loop. It repeats this tree or this big selector until one node returns kill, or until it fails, essentially. So we have a selector node. This is going to be used as our main node for determining the behavior of the script. And so how a selector node works is that if you have a bunch of nodes like how we have here, how we have right now, it works as an OR gate, or just the OR operator. So it runs until something is successful, and if nothing is successful, then the selector node fails. So the first sequence we have here is logging in. So in the sequence, all the nodes have to report success. So it acts as like an AND gate. So everything has to report success. So if this is false, so if we're already logged in, then the sequence won't run. So if we're not logged in, then we continue with the sequence and we log into the game. This condition node basically means that if you pass in a Boolean value, it gets evaluated as either success or fail. So if is logged in is false, then we immediately log in. And this sequence will report success, which means that it reports success to the selector, which means it reports success to the root node, repeat until, which means that it iterates or it reticks the tree over and over. So if this sequence doesn't report success because we're using a selector, we now check to see if we should turn on run. And if we don't need to turn on the run, then we check to see if our inventory is full. If the inventory is full, we immediately run to the bank and deposit our inventory. If we don't need the bank, then we walk to the combat area if we're not in the area. If we're in the area, then we need to initialize our target if it's null. If our target is not valid, meaning we killed the target, then we're going to increment the kill count and set a new target. We're going to loot anything on the ground as well, if there's anything in our combat area that we should loot. We're also going to bury any bones that were picked up, and we're going to make sure that we don't do this while we're in combat as well, and we're not going to loot either if we're in combat, because we have the condition is not in combat. And if none of the nodes above were successful, we're going to check if we're in combat. If we're in combat, then we don't need to attack the target NPC. So this is basically the combat behavior tree. And now if I go into the combat manager, you can see that we're using an interface so that we can create different types of combat managers. The combat manager has a logger, a combat area, NPC name, NPC query, attack option, our target, and our kill count. These are the three methods that must be implemented by the class that implements this, so our concrete implementation. Here are our extension functions. These functions are extensions so that we don't clog up our main interface class here. So these are all the functions for allowing us to check if we're in combat, if we're in the combat area, is our target NPC null, or is it not valid, etc. And here's our other functions for getting NPCs that are interacting with our player, get the character that our player is interacting with, and getting the closest non-interacting NPC. Here's our concrete implementation of the combat manager. Here we have the attack option. Our kill count is set to 0. Our NPC query makes sure that our target NPCs that we're looking for are valid and are in the combat area. Here we reset the target NPC when it's killed, or when we move, or when we need to do something else. Here we set our new target NPC by prioritizing any NPC that is currently interacting with our player. If there isn't, then we check to see if there's any NPC interacting with our player that we're not interacting with. If not, we filter and target NPCs that matches our targets. And if not, then we get the closest non-interacting NPC. Here we attack the target by ensuring that it's not null, and ensuring it's valid, ensuring that the health percent is greater than 0. And we also wait until we're in combat when we attack it as well. And in our looting manager, we have a data class storing all the information for the item that we've looted, ID, name, and stack. Here's our loot query for getting all the items in a combat area that are reachable. We check is any loot checked to see if there's anything that's available to be looted. This gets a list of all the items that are available to be looted. And then our loot function basically just iterates through all of the ground items and picks them up. This is our logger so that we can print information to the console. And that's it. If you have any questions or need help, feel free to comment below or message me on Discord. Hope this video helped you guys out, and you're going to be seeing a video next showing how it works in action. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.